Good morning, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. How's it going, man?
So, on Twitter,
okay,
there was a lady that put out one of the best tweets I've ever seen. Right, the one lady asked, "What do men really want?" And the reply to it, which was retweeted forever, was for their favorite team to win a championship. So the question is not how am I doing? It's how are you feeling, man?
I mean, anytime your team wins a championship, personal's not wrong, right? And of course, I get to go downtown Seattle this morning, and they're going to be doing the trophy presentation and the victory parade through Seattle. So right after this show, I'm jumping straight in the car and headed downtown. There'll be about 1 million people in around the stadium there. So it is going to be complete chaos and a ton of fun.
Yeah, good, man. Congrats to you, man. That, like I said, it's an awesome feeling. I remember that from my younger days. So congrats to you, man. And it's awesome, man. It was awesome. They played a great game and had a great season, just frankly. So
they did. And there is some pretty crazy numbers to go through. But let's say hi to everybody. Got Zach in the house. What's up, man? Make a friend day. Hey, there's no better than a championship parade. And go make some friends, right? Got Raj in the house. What's up, buddy? Let's see. We got Nick.
What's up?
Brad. Yep. So welcome in, everybody. So I will be on Coast to Coast. I will not host Coast to Coast. So Pags is going to run that show for me because I will be in the car. And of course, I will be downtown with my man Rob here. So should be fun.
Dang, Rob.
Probably be retired. So, on this show and really every other show, I talked about DK needing to get out of town and all of that, right? Because he was a 15-yard penalty monster and all this.
Right.
And then, of course, he forces his way out. He gets paid, right? So you can't hate on that. He gets paid with the Steelers. That being said, this little clip from a podcast he was on sure aged well.
Said I had a chance to play with some great players, man. Yeah. From Russ to Bobby to Marshawn. Got a chance to Locke as well. Got a chance to meet some greats like Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman. But it's just time for me to move on. I think it's the grass is greener, on the other side.
Hey, how's that grass?
he specifically meant money. Because he didn't mean anything. He didn't mean anything else. From playing time to lawsuits to the ability to actually win a playoff game. Yeah, that's all he meant. So
and they're not going to be better this year. So
no.
Yeah. But it made me laugh. It made me laugh. I mean,
it should. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it only makes me laugh because there's a little bit of petty in there. But
oh, you sound like me. I would absolutely. Anytime somebody leaves and if they have something to say, I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes.
Right? We'll just keep some receipts. It's cool.
Yes. Enjoy getting a game above 500 and losing in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, okay.
Perfect. I mean, that's more or less what we were doing towards the end of the time here in Seattle also. Then there was the other side of that. And that's the clip I forgot to load is DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
He leaves Dallas and he says, Dallas is my home. I love it here. I'll forever be here, but I'm not going to win a ring here. And then people were clowning on him hard about coming to Seattle and talk about calling your own shot.
Right.
Seattle and man, what do you know?
Yeah.
Gets that hardware.
Yep. And it's I feel bad saying this for Cowboys fans might want to look away. it was kind of a safe comment because even if Seattle didn't win, you knew Dallas wasn't winning. So he was probably going to be okay because he didn't say, "Hey, I'm definitely winning in Seattle," but he basically said, "Yeah, we'll never win here." And now they have to try harder to prove him right. But kudos to him for a quote that, like you said, aged like wine. That was a great one.
Yeah, I just figured, do two quotes that one of them aged like milk, and the other one was solid. So yeah, no, it was pretty funny. Happy birthday to my mom.
Oh, happy birthday. I didn't even send her a card. I'm so sorry, Mom. The card's in the mail.
If you're in the chat, say happy birthday to my mom.
Yes, for sure.
So, I like the Miami chat that's happening.
I know, I keep glancing over it. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, if you see me chuckle, I mean, you're already to the point that they're talking about Zach Wilson. This is probably not going where you want it to go.
Yes. If this is a cage match between Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers, yeah, this is not going to make a pay-per-view.
That's only because 2 already tapped out.
Yeah, basically, they've essentially moved on here in the chat.
So there is that, because obviously we're going to talk about the Super Bowl here. It was it was a really good defensive battle. So if you like defense, it was a good game for you. If you wanted to see the scoreboard lit up, obviously that is not going to be the thing. But there were some opportunities for Seattle, but credit to that Patriots, front seven. They were able to get Darnold moving around just enough that he misses a wide open JSN way deep. That
that one, yeah,
walk-in touchdown. There was that Walker touchdown that gets called back. So, I mean, there was opportunities for this to get blown out. But, again, kudos to that Patriots defense. They really shut it down. On the other side,
yeah,
Seattle's defense was suffocating and really, really impressive. Now that it's done, you're right. Gonzo had a day. Let's not pretend like he didn't have safety help over the top, though. They defended JSN exactly how I thought they would. Gonzo would follow him around. They'd have safety help over the top. And but that's to take nothing away from Gonzo. He was right there. He made a couple of deflected passes that were amazing. The numbers for this defense versus Legion of Boom is actually pretty impressive. Yeah. A field goal more points per game. So fairly nominal. 6 yards a game less as far as total yards allowed. Rushing yards way better, which is funny because that was a problem early in the year. Are they going to be able to stop the run? A little more passing yards, didn't have as many takeaways, more sacks, and better at third down conversions. So when you stack this against the championship 2013 Seahawks defense, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. It's also, and clearly I wasn't paying as much attention in 2013, so I can't say this part, but they also played in the best division in football. So you have to take those numbers and think, it wasn't like they played the Falcons and the Panthers every week. Sure. They played 2 other playoff teams in their divisions and 2 other playoff teams who won games in the playoffs. So no slouch here. And then having to go through the Rams for the 3rd time. So
that was still true even in 2013. That NFC Championship game was the 49ers and Seattle.
Gotcha. And that's what I said. I wasn't sure 100% before I said that. But to me, still great. And then especially like when you look at the passing yards, only a small uptick with all the rules kind of changing to favor passing offenses more. It just shows kind of a great adjustment. But the defense really did carry them. And you could kind of I know we haven't gone into Super Bowl breakdown, but you could kind of tell at times the Seattle offense knew, all right, we don't have to take chances because the defense is going to hold it down. So we just have to play our game and not do anything crazy, and we'll be good. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and I wish I knew the conversation was going to go that way, because then it would have been easy to give you a soundbite that would have reminded you exactly how that NFC Championship went, because you can't have a sorry receiver like Crabtree against Sherman, because that was that game.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yes. Richard Sherman. Yeah. He was a little salty after that game. He was he was all over the place on that one. So
there are salt mines with less salt than what he
yes.
had during that game.
And then Crabtree were trying to shake his head after the game. He was like, forget all this, I'm done.
No. It was the other way around. Sherman
he tried to shake Crabtree. Okay.
And put his hand out like, hey, good game. And he's like, get out of here. And he's like, oh, okay.
Lighting you on fire. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a wild post-game interview,
yes.
I should say.
So no, they did great though. And they really, like I said, they held it down, especially in this kind of generation where passing is kind of rewarded more. They were great on shoot every game. It's like, well, you only had a couple 2 games, right? That really got out of hand. And even then, look at that record. So
yeah,
I don't know how much you want to go to the personnel moves yet, but yeah, it was a great job by the defense.
Yeah, no, it was an impressive game from the defensive side, and really impressive in some of the ways that they found ways to fix things they did do poorly before, right? So before this game started, I thought that Henry was going to have a pretty good day at their tight end, right? Because blocking or, stopping little seam routes and stuff like that, they struggled with throughout the year. That was an element that you could kind of exploit. That was not available to them the whole game. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to have a little more success running the ball. Clearly that was not the case. And so, I mean, there were things that you saw they would be able or should be able to do that in this game, they just really couldn't. And I mean, it was, I think that was probably the most impressive part, is because you had 2 weeks to correct some of the issues, and they did. Yeah. Like they definitely got in there and fixed some of the holes that they definitely had.
Right. Which is amazing, because I understand there's the break of 2 weeks, but it's not like you get other personnel in that 2 weeks. So they're basically saying, look, we think you're good enough. We just need you to do this differently, and we'll be fine. And then clearly one of those things was, let's just attack the left side of the line all day. So we're going to rush like 7 from this side and just put 1 guy on the other side and just keep coming after him. So, and then you saw it in the chat. I'm being facetious about that. I just like they overwhelmed. You can't get in there with 2 rookies on one side of the line, and the Super Bowl gets a great defense and really. I mean,
you can, and you gotta keep in mind, like, we had Zabel up front, and he was awesome. The thing they did do is, and they did it in the championship game as well, is they just didn't let Bradford play. Right. And Bradford, we talked about on the show plenty of times with my frustration of him just getting, beat constantly. And, championship game, he wasn't in there. Offensive line looked way better. Super Bowl wasn't in there. Offensive line looked way better. So I feel like there was a trend.
Addition by subtraction is what you're saying.
And not to say that, they should get him off the team or anything like that. He just needs more development. Like, he was actively missing guys, missing blocks and all of that during the season. So when I saw him change that,
really, Raj?
Hey, it's that word of the day, toilet paper. Come on.
Oh my goodness. That's why I love my brother.
So good. But yeah, so it's it was interesting to see them correct some of the issues that they had, and then they just never really course corrected for the Patriots. That being said, they had 30 players on their first year deal on that team.
Right.
So, I mean, for them to be there, whether you want to make the argument about the schedule or not, is impressive, because you still got to win those games.
Oh, for sure. We said this before. The Patriots are way ahead of schedule. There were people out there talking about, is this a Drake May legacy game, or what does this mean for Vrabel? I was like, nothing. I mean, it means positives only. Drake May's in his second year. Vrabel got there like yesterday. What are we talking about? They were just cobbling a team together and say, can we be competitive? And then all of a sudden they looked around and they were in first and like, not exactly sure how this happened. But I am extremely excited. So no, kudos to them. The future looks bright for sure. And there's no shame in just getting beat by a better team. Every one of us who roots for our teams has been there. So hats off to the Patriots. And you got to think the AFC is still wide open. So you keep making good personnel moves. You keep having him May will get better as you go along. The line will get better as you go along, and you'll keep making good moves. You'll be fine. So
I mean, when you figure half of the conference got fired,
right?
Like it's definitely a wide open conference. Yeah. Now, even Vrabel, sounded like he appreciated being beat by a better team, right?
Yeah.
Like in his press conference here, he basically, just talked about how overwhelming that defense was.
We couldn't gain any rhythm, field position. We got to get into drives better offensively. Defensively, we've been really good against the run lately, and we weren't. And again, we were just playing catch up, and we did a great job in the red zone, and we competed. But unfortunately, I think the turnovers, ultimately costed us. And I appreciate the way that the guys offensively battled and competed, but just not enough consistent, execution.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, if you're a Patriots fan, you got to be really happy with, obviously how this season went, and moving forward, you got to be ecstatic because you have all these guys. They're on like first year deals. A lot of them are young, so you're not paying them a ton. You have, I think, the most cap space in the league, first or second most cap space in the league. They have like 11 draft picks, and you're not paying anybody. Like that's about as ideal a situation as you want. Then you have a comp or a division that is absolutely wide open.
Yeah, for sure. No, like I said, the path is clearly there. I mean, we're talking about, no offense to the Dolphins fans in there, but what are they going to do, right? And the Jets. So Buffalo, do they get it together? But somehow they were your biggest competition, and they fired their coach anyway. So you're still kind of scrambling there to put something together. So no, you're right ahead of the 8 ball. And anytime you can, I read that. I think CBS Sports had a thing about that.
Yeah, so it's funny because there's been conflicting reports. I think it's based on a couple of option players.
Yeah,
because I've seen it where New England's been 1 and Raiders were 2, and then I've seen it the opposite direction. So I'm not sure exactly which one's accurate, which is why I just say they're top 2 because, it depends on which one you see. And I think it just has to do with option players. So, so who knows? Yeah.
Because they use different wording in the article. They use like available cap space and then expected cap space in some of them. So it's like, So I read the article because to that point, they mentioned the top 5 teams to make a jump next year, and like the Raiders and Titans were on that list, and I was like, the AFC is not gonna be gonna be that big a deal.
And it was funny because if you're listening to some of the talk shows, they basically reiterated some of the things that I had said in the way of it didn't matter who was coming out of the NFC, they were beating the AFC teams.
Right.
Yeah. There was nobody on that AFC side that was scary.
Yeah. That's the thing. They were all just flawed. And then when you get to the point where both of your Super Bowl, the AFC championship game, if Mo Nix is healthy, has good defenses, but like 2 quarterbacks in their second year, you just have to know that there's a reason they're going to be able to get after them. And like I said, that's no fault of Drake May. Like I said, I think he's ahead of schedule. I think he had a great year, the runner-up for the MVP.
Yeah.
It's just you just had to know they were going to get after him in this game. So.
No, for sure. And, of course, Shout out to Rob. He won Pick'em this year. I ended up 2 games short of him. And so there it is. Your 2025 Pick'em
Congrats,
champion
Rob.
is Rob. So it's going to be ordering the nameplate this week. So it'll be on the trophy whenever that arrives. But
Rob, I'll take you out for a drink if you ever make your way to Birmingham.
yeah, that's right. Hey, I appreciate that. It is always nice to have a parking spot.
Wow, there you go. Robert's a good guy.
Absolutely. And of course, they asked Drake May about the experience as well. These are all post. The funny thing is the Seahawks were really quiet. There weren't really good sound bites. So I'm still fighting through some of those to get any good set. They might have been the most calm winning team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like they almost looked like they were like, oh, okay, so what? We've been 1-0 all week or all year. So is there a game next week? Like, I've never seen such a quiet group.
Right.
And then they talked to Walker. They talked to Walker, and they're like, oh, did you go and at least like, party or whatever? He's like, yeah, no, I just kind of went home and hung out with the wife and kids and, whatever. Like,
do you guys know that it was the Super Bowl? Has no one told you? They're like, oh,
that's kind of what it looked like. And even the video that I saw of what it was, Walker and Darnold, they were at Disneyland, right? Because this was down in San Fran, so it's not like that's a long ways away. And you saw them in the teacups, and they're just like, like you're like, all right. But
I guess if that's how you want to celebrate it.
Hey,
I don't know how it would be though. Would I be going crazy, or would I try to be muted for the interviews and then crazy as soon as you turn it off?
So weirdly, I was kind of in between. Like when we won ours, I was excited, but I wasn't like crazy.
Right.
So, we went out afterwards, right? Because our championship game was in Vegas. And so we went out, we went and checked out a couple of the, exclusive clubs and whatever. And so that was cool. But yeah, we didn't go crazy or anything, but you at least knew that you did something. Like some of these guys, you're like, you were just working at a factory today? Like, what?
Yeah, just swung by the stadium, won a Super Bowl, heading back to work.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a question up here. I don't want to miss it. So not sure if Job gets re-signed. JSN Witherspoon obviously do. Walker is another one that probably doesn't. Again, Seattle just doesn't have a history of overpaying running backs.
Right.
And because he just won the Super Bowl MVP, he's probably going to be more valuable to another team than Seattle. I would not be surprised if they go and take a swing at Breece Hall. If they let Walker go, take a swing at Breece Hall because he'll be cheap, and you get Charbonnet back,
Right.
kind of mid-season.
Yeah.
And if you had Breece Hall, Halani played well in the limited touches that he had. So if you had Hall and Halani, and then Charbonnet comes back, that would still be a pretty solid, dual threat in the backfield there. So sadly, Walker is probably going to be a cap casualty because he's going to want some very real money. JSN soundbite. Yeah, I'll see if I can. It's hard to do mid-show. But we will try it out.
Uh-oh. I do have a cut while you're loading up. Then it's interesting to me also, since you're talking about quarterbacks. Well, I don't know. Do you want to wait a minute before this one? since it's mid-hour, do I have a second?
No, go ahead.
Darnold, if he doesn't have the last 2 games of the Minnesota season like go as badly as they do, right? Yep. Or if Geno accepts less money and decides to stay, yep. It's like those little dominoes right there that get you a Darnold instead of a Geno,
yep.
at less money, and all of a sudden you're like Super Bowl. And the side effect of Justin Jefferson sitting over there going, yeah, we probably should have just kept that guy. Yes. So that is like one of those kind of small dominoes that maybe at the time we thought, they'll be okay with Darnold, versus now all of a sudden you're in a Super Bowl and win with him. So little things that could have happened to change.
I didn't have that on my bingo card, right? I had them as a divisional round exit.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and honestly, if you're the Vikings, not only do you let Darnold go, but you let Daniel Jones go, who was playing fantastic for the Colts. So then you got to think, would the Vikings have at least just been better if Daniel Jones was still there?
Yes.
I get how weird that sounded. It felt weird saying that.
You couldn't think about that one first. You just had to say it.
No, right? Yeah, you let it flow, and then you're like,
But no, you are absolutely right. And you kind of one franchise is on the down slope now. You got a big decision to make, and Seattle's sitting pretty, and the Raiders are regretting the whole thing too. So it's like all these little dominoes from a couple decisions. So
I don't know that the Raiders are. I mean, they might be, but I don't necessarily see them as regretting that situation, because now they sit here with arguably the most cap space. They have the number 1 overall pick. They have a really good offensive minded coach coming in. You still have Crosby, who dispelled some of the rumors that he was trying to get out. You have 2 great tight ends. You have a running back. Like, there's pieces there. And then you have a ownership group that is willing to be patient. They signed him to a 5-year deal. They understand this is going to take a minute to turn around. I think if you're a Raiders fan, you're kind of encouraged moving forward. Now, the initial, they were like, what did we just do? But on the backside of that 1 year where, man, talk about a dumpster fire, they sure look like they might be headed on the right path.
Right. So basically what you're saying is the pitch to Geno was, look, we need you to either be really good or really bad. Can't have you be like a middle of the road quarterback. You got to pick one of those 2 paths. Really good or really bad, and that will help our future.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you're middling, it's tough because you don't get the draft picks, right?
Right.
Rob, you're right. Especially on this group, Shaheed, you probably can still get for a decent price. So I don't know if he would necessarily be gone. Maffei might be. Woolen, I assume, will be, because he got beat in the Super Bowl too. That first score was over Reek Woolen. And, obviously he had the meltdown in the the NFC Championship game where he gets the taunting penalty and then gets torched for a touchdown right after that. And he got burned, he got burned on that same type of play in the Super Bowl. So Woolen probably isn't a Seahawk next year. Shaheed's a good question. That's the thing, is Kubiak might snag Shaheed for the Raiders, because again, Shaheed was, Kubiak's guy. So I get that, but we'll see. But so this was, in fact, we're at the halfway point. So we got to say goodbye to our radio audience before I move on and forget to say bye. So if you're listening on 97.3 ICU radio, be sure to stay tuned for some smooth jazz headed your way. Otherwise, you can stay tuned right here on @Football-Talk, our YouTube channel, for the second half of the show. And that's where we're going to continue talking about the Super Bowl here. And of course, this was Drake May's reaction, and actually a pretty mature reaction from the opposing quarterback here.
No doubt. It definitely hurts. It's been a long ride. They played better than us tonight. They deserve to win that game, and speaking, for the whole team and, myself, just, what a journey it's been for us. I love this team, love those guys in the locker room, and we'll leave it all on the field. And I know a lot of guys did that tonight and just came up short, didn't play our best, and that's what happens.
And he's not wrong. I mean, he didn't play particularly well through the playoffs in general.
Right.
So I'm glad that that Stafford got the MVP, because in that championship game, Stafford still showed out, right? Showed you he's exactly that caliber guy. And if you would have seen the league MVP through the playoffs the way that Drake May was, you'd have been like, this is the MVP? Like, what?
Right. And like I said, to his credit, again, it's his second year, so to get even to this point, and I love his response. I mean, like, look, we just got beat. Sometimes people try to break this down and break that down, and where'd you make mistakes? I mean, it wasn't necessarily just unforced errors here. The defense got after you. You got beat. They were a better team, man. So, no, kudos to Drake May. Love him shouting out his team in there. I mean, it has been a great journey for them.
Oh, yeah.
All these guys who just got assembled, and like I said, with a new coaching staff and everything, they're probably just like, hey, let's just get out there and get after it. And all of a sudden, you're in the Super Bowl, man. So, but no, Drake May's best days are still ahead of him. So let's not, So, like I said, I mentioned it briefly earlier where people are like, is this any kind of legacy game? What does it mean for Drake May? I was like, a building block, if anything, but nothing.
How can you have a
definitive
legacy game?
That's what I'm saying. Like, unless you guys are just saying this is the only time he gets there ever, I don't know. But
I mean, that's always a possibility, right? That's always a possibility. It's tough to get to the Super Bowl. Certainly, it's tough to win it if you do get there. It'd be hard to think that early in your career is a legacy game, like unless he just went off on this defense, right? Where he threw for like 3 touchdowns and 400 yards and ran for another like 60 or something. Then yeah, that's probably a legacy game, right? Like you would have been the league Super Bowl MVP and all of that. I mean, sure. Yeah, I could see that, but this was never going to be that kind of game. The defenses were far too good for that.
Right. Which, by the way, you can always cherry pick stats though. And I could say, well, Drake May threw for 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was the leading rusher, and make it sound amazing. Like, wow.
Yeah.
No,
he also threw 43 times.
Yes. And that's why I said you can cherry pick the stats and make it sound better. But no shade to him. I love Rabel. I'd love to see him get a chance to get back, but the Seattle defense was just all over. You could just kind of tell a shift early. It was like the first drive, I think, for Seattle, there was 2 or 3 passes where you could tell the New England Patriots were trying to jump stuff. They were trying to get an interception. And there was, one right before, I guess, the field goal that Darnold threw that I was like, I don't even know how. Like, I don't know how the defender missed it. I don't know how it ended up in the receiver's hands. And I'm thinking, okay. And it's almost like they got to the sideline and like, look, our defense is too good. Don't do any more of that. And they just said, okay, we're just not going to take any crazy chances. It reminded us, Bama fans will love this, old Bama, where, good defense, good running game. If it's not there, you punt and your defense will handle things. So Seattle, just like you said, mentioned earlier, just had a great game plan coming in. And they really just took away anything that that New England wanted to do. So
he did have garbage time yards. That is very true. But I mean, honestly,
that was my point in that, by the way, was when you can cherry pick stuff and make it sound better, was because yes, it was all late stuff. Yeah,
because then you're starting to play that prevent. You're giving up yards because you don't want to give up the big play. Which again, you've heard me say a million times, I hate that kind of defense. Use the defense that's won you the game, but because all you do is get them in a rhythm, and then they end up scoring anyway. So you might as well just play your good, sound defense if you're going to let them score regardless. I mean, I get you're chewing up the clock, and it's still stupid. Like, I don't like it. It forced the turnover, and then all of a sudden you have the ball and you can dictate what happens. So I don't know. Not a fan of prevent. No. Makes me mad every time I see it. Whether I was on the field watching the game, as soon as I see prevent called, I'm just like, Yeah. Well, because inevitably it's like chunk yards. They're like, all right, there's a 25-yarder because everybody was like protecting against the 40-yard. I'm like,
but why? You know, or like you said, the guy gets in a rhythm, they're running to the line quickly, and receivers are hardly even running routes at times. They're like, all right, I'll just be open right here. I'll just run to right here, hit me for 15. If I break one tackle, maybe it's 20. You know, it's just weird. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was a quick touchdown. What happened there?
No, exactly, right? I mean, and it's not like it was that much slower than if you would have gave up the big play. But if you would have just played sound defense, you might have had him punting.
Yes.
Or at least turnover on downs or something. I mean, who knows?
Yep.
But yeah, maybe he didn't buy him something for Christmas. I mean, he is on a rookie deal. So there is that.
Yeah. He got a McDonald's. That's
yes. Yeah, no, it's yeah, and this is absolutely true. Their schedule is going to be significantly harder next year.
right.
So that does play a part. Obviously, their own division still has a lot of new coaches coming in, so who knows what that division is going to be. But realistically, the schedule will be harder. Certainly outside of the division, but yeah, I expect them. I expect them to be a better team next year. Now, their record may not indicate it, but I would bet that they are a more complete team next year than they were this year. Yeah. And if you're a Patriots fan, you got to think that's awesome. If you're the entire rest of the league that's tired of hearing about the Patriots, that's not ideal.
Yeah. Is Diggs still on this team next year? I don't even know what his situation is.
No, he had a 1-year deal there, and we don't even know if he's going to be playing football next year.
Right.
His court case, his hearing is in 2 days. It's the 13th. And so, he could have a very wild week. Like he could go from losing.
He already did.
losing the Super Bowl, losing Cardi B, potentially going to jail. Like that's a rough go of it.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of the whole Diggs experience was the biggest thing you heard from them after there was the whole Cardi B stuff. And I'm like, this is just wild. It's never just regular and sports related stuff. So,
and the thing that was, I think that was even crazier about that is the Cardi B stuff before the season started, but then it just kind of went away. Right.
Yeah.
And then you saw him just playing football and all of that. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, this is one of the quieter years for Diggs. That's actually great for the Patriots. And then all of a sudden the lawsuit gets dropped where he allegedly, assaulted and strangled. And you're just like, oh, I mean, wow. Okay. That's wild. I guess you can't have the other crazy when you're doing stuff like that. Now, granted, that incident was supposed to be from 2023, something like that.
It was years ago, but yes, still holds. Yeah.
So, but in any event, so yeah, he has his first hearing on the 13th. And so, who knows if he's even playing football next year.
Right. So
with the Diggs brothers, it's always something.
Yes. I don't remember hearing this from Trayvon, I guess, when he was here, but maybe that's where you hide stuff. And all of a sudden you get out in the open in the NFL and all the stories come out. So good luck to both of them.
There's too much money once you get to the NFL, because then when you start doing dumb stuff, people want to grab some of that, in case you feel like trying to punch a fan or whatever.
That seems like a very specific story.
Well, that's because that lawsuit just dropped also.
Right.
So, DK is mentioned in that to the tune of $100 million. So, obviously he's mentioned in it because he's the one that took a swing, but then you have Sharp and Ocho Cinco mentioned as well for defamation of character. So, I mean, it's that one's going to be interesting because Ryan Kennedy, that Lions fan, he's gonna make some money. He's gonna make some.
Oh, for sure. Shoot big, get little. I'll be his best friend if he's getting 20 million. So.
That's right. I'll go hang out on his yacht. Yeah. So Ruggs does get early release. It might actually be before that. I think he can be available for the preseason camps. I could be wrong. I'd have to look the article back up. What's happening, Joe?
What's up, Joe? Oh, Joe, what's up?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the exact date, but it sounded like there was actually a possibility that he could be there for the preseason camps before preseason actually starts. So that will be an interesting one to watch. Also, who takes a flyer on him, right? Because, I mean, he was an incredible athlete prior to that. So, but, you know, sometimes the speed of the game passes you by. So,
for sure.
For tough to say.
Yeah.
And I will say this, the Raiders were super stand up about the way they handled that. They could have not paid him, right? That would have been within the rights of, you know, the way the contracts are written. And instead, they took the money that he would have been making it and sending it to the victim of that crash.
Yeah.
Which, you know, talk about an amazing thing for the Raiders organization to do. So, you know, shout out to the Raiders for trying to make that as right as they could.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was obviously a tough situation all around. So, yes, now kudos to the organization. So, and honestly, I mean, he's a Bama guy. We hope he gets his life back together, you know, whether it's football or not. But, you know, he paid the price, and it was a terrible thing that happened. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I hate it for everybody all around, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, some people are saying he should never get another shot and all of this. And, you know, he was young and dumb and made a huge mistake that went about as poorly as it could.
Right.
But I would venture to guess that there is a extraordinarily high percentage of people that are even watching this show that probably drank some beers and drove when they shouldn't have.
Right.
Right. It doesn't excuse it. But at the same time, if you're going to try and crucify this guy, probably need to reflect a little bit on yourself. Obviously, there's the outlier that I've never had a drink or whatever. But I mean, you know, a lot of us are old enough to have grown up without Uber and probably drove home when you shouldn't have.
Right.
You know, there's really no excuse anymore. Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's too easy to get a ride.
Right.
But it used to be when you went to a house party or something, you were just stuck at a house party.
Right. Right. No, we have. I mean, you're right. We've all been there, and that's it. And I hope nobody's thinking that we're excusing anything. No, this day and age, especially on a team and with all the other stuff going on, there are ways to get home from everything, no matter the situation. Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every team has a guy who's just sitting around 24/7 who's like waiting to fix whatever goes on. So whatever happens.
They absolutely have that guy. In fact, there's like a special number that the players have to call that person. Right. So, and again, we're not excusing this at all. You know, obviously there was a death, a family that is hurting from it and all of that.
For sure.
Like, we're not discounting any of those things, but you also shouldn't make it so that this guy can never have a life after the fact.
Right.
Right. I mean, he made a mistake, obviously. So, you know, I don't know. Again, unless you're perfect in your own life, I don't think you can be, you know, just burying this kid. Just because, again, you know, we've all either been in a situation or had a friend that got a DUI or whatever. His just happened to go as poorly as it could go.
Yeah, for sure. Well said.
Yeah, exactly. We're all human. So,
yeah.
You know,
and he paid the price for it. That's the other thing on this. Let's not, I think people who are like, oh, he should never be back. He paid the price. I don't know if you guys realize prison is prison. That is not, you know, he wasn't at some country club. He wasn't something. No, he paid the price for this. So,
well, especially because, you know, you killed somebody. So you're not going to like daycare, you know, like county, right? Like you're going to actual jail.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not like that was going to be a fun or pleasant experience. And he spent actual time there.
Yes.
So it's not like it was it was a 30-day. Now he's got a lot of probation. It's like, no, he was there for years.
Yeah.
So, again, that doesn't bring the people's family back or anything like, you know, because I imagine when people rewatch this, they're going to get mad for no reason.
Of course.
But because the internet is fun.
You already know.
Oh, yeah.
I would just wish at some point people would listen to the whole message, but you know, cherry pick what you want, and you know,
no,
he made a terrible decision. He paid for it. They paid for it. It's a lot of hurt to go around. So.
Yeah, and exactly. He has to live with the fact that he did that. In fact, I would not be surprised if after his playing career, he probably does, don't drink and drive kind of activist type of work. A lot of those guys kind of do. Now, obviously, I don't know this guy or his character or anything like that, but it would not shock me if he, after the playing career, maybe he doesn't make it back, or even if he does, if he does a lot of work on that front, because a lot of those guys do. I mean, even when you're thinking of, maybe it wasn't drinking and driving, you think of Ryan Leaf with substance abuse. He still does a ton of, tour dates and speaking engagements and stuff about substance abuse. Like that's what a lot of these guys do, is they battle through, overcoming stuff like that.
Yep.
And with his speed and athleticism, there's absolutely plenty of places that could use him. It's just whether or not they want to deal with the circus that's going to come with bringing this guy in. Because although on this show, we're relatively level-headed about stuff, that may not be the case for the general public.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go into the whole story, but you look at what happened Vic after, being in jail for 5 or 6 years, and then coming back out and getting signed, and it was a circus till that day. So people had never even watched the game, all of a sudden jumped out and went to protest stuff. So
yeah, and I know he has talked a little bit, but I mean, he may be like a regular speaker on the subject. If the NFL resurgence doesn't happen, but you're right, Vic, especially his first year back, it was a rough first year back
for sure.
From public perception.
Yeah. And it was the same thing. They were like, oh, he should pay. I'm like, he was in prison. He was paying. So
yeah. And then he did also monetarily pay, because he did a lot of things for like animal rights stuff. So it's not like those things didn't happen also.
Yep.
Now everybody talked down about it. They're like, oh, he's only doing it because he has to and whatever. And it's like, people can actually learn that they messed up.
Right. And then if he didn't do it, then they'd be like, he's not even doing anything. So you were just ready to hate it either way. So whether you think he's doing it because he wanted to or he had to, the money still goes to organizations that can help. So, take it either way.
Yeah, winning it in San Fran was funny. If they can go back to back, you get the chance to do it in SoFi also, because it goes back to LA next year. So that would be really funny if you could win back-to-back rings in your division's buildings. That would be hilarious. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But and hopefully I'll be down there for that one. I really want to try and be on Radio Row for the Super Bowl next year. Look like
Radio Row. Yeah, Radio Row needs some more Bo. And then I come along as your assistant.
Let's go. I'm with it. No, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure.
So I got to figure out how to make that happen, because I think I'd actually like to get a booth, to try and get interviews and stuff like that throughout the week.
Right. Yep. That'd be great. That'd be a great experience too. What do you think of Seattle's chances of getting back though?
It's tough to go back to back. Joe, no, it'll be in Los Angeles, not San Fran. Yep. Yeah, it is really hard to go back to back. So is it possible? Sure. Like it's going to be hard enough just to get back through this division.
Right.
San Francisco is going to be healthy. The Rams get to bring most of their team back.
Right.
So
Stafford announced he's coming back. So
Exactly. So, I mean, neither one of those teams are losing a lot of guys. San Fran's a question mark because CMC is kind of like Burrow, where he's hurt every other year. He was healthy this year. So, if we're watching trends, not that we're wishing any ill will towards CMC, let's just make that clear.
Right.
But if you watch the trends, there's a good chance that maybe he doesn't play the whole season.
Yeah.
On the other side, Burrow should be healthy because he was hurt last year.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, whenever we do our pre-pick shows or whatever, I always pick against the team that won the last year. I always just say, man, it is tough to navigate all that again. And like you said, the division. And you even have to wonder, like, those are the two better teams in your division. With the Cardinals, with the coaching change, like, I don't, obviously I'm not going to pick them to win the division, but will they be just better enough, to annoy you when you're coming off of having played a San Francisco or Rams and just enough to beat you up a little bit?
So I don't think, so no, but it's a division rival, so they can beat you anytime just because they know you well. And I was fine with the LaFleur hire, but as soon as they hired Hackett, I was like, oh, they're not even trying to win. Got it. Yeah, the schedule's going to be tough. There's no question. Yeah, no, it's going to be a rough one. Yeah, the North is going to be good.
For sure.
So they, I forget. They're usually a couple years out for announcing, so I don't remember where it is after LA. But I believe the venue's been picked. So you should be able to Google that. I don't know if, they probably should get rid of Kyler. They clearly don't believe in him. But who knows? Again, new coaching staff, maybe they think they have something for him. If Cardinals are taking Arch, that is terrible. And they keep talking about, like, if he's a third rounder, fair enough, but they keep talking about him as a number 1 overall pick. What about his play has said he's the number 1 pick?
Right.
Or is there just nobody else coming out that year?
Yeah. But I'll say this about Texas, because their schedule always seems very weak, and they've got him as many toys as possible because they've been spending a lot of money in the offense. So you'll find out pretty quickly. And you know how that is. Sometimes just beating up on bad teams will inflate that. Plus, they want him to be the number 1 pick. That name will always make him something. They want him to be the number 1 pick. So
that's the problem.
None of it would surprise me.
Based on what we've seen from him so far, if his name wasn't Manning, we wouldn't even be talking about him.
Right. For sure.
We'd just be like, oh, Texas probably needs to upgrade their quarterback, right? Like, that would be the conversation. But because his last name is Manning, they're like, oh, he's going to be the number 1 pick. It's like, there's no part of what I've seen. Like, he played better coming in relief for Ewers than he did as the starter. So, I don't know. He has to take a massive step forward if he's going to be the number 1 pick or even a first round pick.
I agree. But I think you're going to see the better numbers from him for sure. They surrounded him and stuff, and the Texas schedule is never, ever that tough, especially SEC wise. They always seem to miss like the top 5 teams in the SEC.
He already had a good team. Ewers balled out with that team.
Ewers was all right with that team. I think they just won.
He was very good. He just got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
That was really it.
Because, like, when he was healthy, that looked like a championship caliber team. And then, but he just gets hurt a lot, which is why it made me laugh that Miami took him. Because I'm like, oh, cool. You're going to have a guy that gets hurt all the time, back up the guy that gets hurt all the time.
No.
You're like, okay, between these two, we probably have 17 starts. And since we're not going to go into the postseason, that's all we need.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to bury your team right there.
They spent the whole first half burying their team, though, so they should be okay with that.
That's true. That's true. There you go. Atlanta gets it in 28. Nice.
He'll be there.
Like Shador, I'm not sure what you mean there.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Can they repeat? They can. They got a lot of key pieces coming back. Obviously, there's some decisions to make when it comes to Woolen and a couple of the other guys, but it's a possibility. Repeating or even just getting back in the dance is exceedingly difficult. So, you know, I saw the initial numbers. It was like a plus 900 for the Rams and the Seahawks. They were tied for the first two spots as far as making it to the Super Bowl. So, you know, when you're a plus 900, that lets you know for a team that just won it, it's hard to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the all way too early stuff for next year after every sport. College, you know, they do the same thing. NFL one. Without seeing any offseason moves and know anything else anyone else is going to do, here's what we're doing. And there's somebody who probably placed a bet on it already.
Yeah, there you go. Plus 950. I knew I was close. I knew I was close. And you can bet on that right here. Use the QR code up to 125% of your first 3 deposits. 10% bet guarantee. Had to get that, get that in there. Thanks for the setup there, Nick. And of course, if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you are a gym enthusiast, use the QR code here. Free 5-day pass. Any of the 3 True Fusion gyms. And if you are a Pilates fan, they have a new reformer studio at their Ballard location. Again, free 5-day pass. Any of the 3 locations using the QR code on the screen. Find your edge. True Fusion Gym. How about that? We just snuck it in.
We're great.
I was like, oh man, I'm actually gonna miss those. And then you know, we get the setup from the chat. I like it. Yeah, his name sells tickets and merchandise, and so yes, you're right. Arch Manning in that instance is definitely, you know, that same caliber of thing. Yes. So probably even more so, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Good. That is a good point on that one.
I was happy to help with the sponsors. They appreciate it too. That being said, that does get us to the top of the show. We appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm going to be on Coast to Coast coming up next from the car. Otherwise, going to be downtown for the Seahawks parade. I will try and get as much content down there as possible. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see y'all next week. Take it easy, everybody.